Hi everyone and welcome to a new video on the CBI channel. In this tutorial series we're creating a full stack web application with Python Django in the backend and React.js in the frontend. And in the end that application will look like this, where we have a nice looking navigation menu and the possibility to read data on our homepage, but also to create records, to edit records, and also to delete records. Now, this is not the first video in this series. In fact, we've already done 6 before, in which we've completed some basic setup. I showed you how to make the nice looking navigation menu, and we also already started with defining the models in our backend and creating some APIs that our React.js frontend can consume. Now in this video, we're going to continue where we left off in the last video, and we're going to be making sure that we can consume the APIs that we've created in our Django backend with the React.js frontend. And after this video, our app will look like this, where we can go to our frontend and actually see some of the data from our backend in the console. Now to realize this, we're going to be following 5 steps. We're going to start by installing a package called Axios, which is going to help us with fetching data from our backend to our frontend. Then we're going to use Axios to create a mechanism that can actually make requests to our Django APIs. And I'm going to show you how we can fetch the backend data for countries. And once that is working correctly, we're also going to do the same thing, but then for characteristics and for the leaks data. And as a last step, we're going to test if everything works the way that we expect. Now, the first step that we need to take is installing Axios inside of our project. So right now we are on the documentation for Axios, and you can see that Axios is a promise-based HTTP client. And basically what this means is that it can help us with fetching data from APIs and then use it inside of our React.js application. Now, if we scroll down a little bit, you can see that the installation is very easy. We can just do npm install and then use Axios to install the package. So we're now inside of our project code, and I'm going to be opening a new terminal. And in there, I'm just going to cd into the frontend folder. And there we do npm install of Axios. And the install is now complete. Now the next step is creating a mechanism that can get the API data from our backend and bring that to our frontend. Now inside of our frontend, we want to reuse code as much as possible, because I don't want to be writing an entire mechanism for getting data from our backend in each of the files where we need to fetch data. So what we will be doing is we're going to be creating a generic file inside of the components folder that is going to be called axios.jsx. And in there, we are going to create a mechanism that we can reuse in multiple pages to make fetching data a little bit easier. So inside of the components folder, I click on a new file, and I'm going to be calling that axios.jsx. Now in this file, we're going to create a constant that is going to help us with fetching data in the future. Now at the top of this file, we start with an import, and we import Axios from Axios. And then we're going to be creating a constant called Axios instance. And this constant is going to define exactly how we want to fetch the data. So we start this by doing axios.create. And then we do some round brackets and some squirrely brackets. And inside of this axios.create statement, we're going to provide a few parameters that we need to successfully fetch data from our backend. Now, the first thing that it needs is the URL where we need to look at. So we're going to be adding something called base URL, and we're going to be setting that equal to the URL where we need to be fetching data from. Now, for convenience, on the top, I'm just going to define a constant here called base URL. And this constant is going to be the input for this field right here. Now, this base URL needs to be the point where we fetch data from. And that is going to be our Django backend. And as the parameter describes, we only need the base. So we just need the part of the URL that we will always need to provide. Now, if we open a new terminal and we cd into our backend, and we do venv/scripts/activate, and then we start our server by doing python manage.py run server, it will show us the URL on where our backend is hosted. And that is this URL right here, ending on 8000. And that is actually also going to be the base URL in this instance. So we can just copy that over and then provide that right here in the base URL section, because all of our requests to our backend are always going to be with this URL. Next to the base URL, we also need to provide a timeout. And that timeout is going to make sure that we have a little bit of latency between the request. I'm going to set that to 5,000. And as a last step, we also need to provide some headers. Now inside of this headers, we're going to actually opening a new set of square brackets. And in there, we're going to start by defining something called content type. And this is going to be equal to application/JSON, because we want to have the content type of JSON. And then we also are going to create something called accept. And this is actually going to have the exact same value. It's also going to be equal to application/JSON. And these are just a few settings that we require to make sure that this will all work. Now, as a last step, we want to be using this Axios instance inside of other files. So we need to do export default, and then mention that we want to export this Axios instance. And now we are able to use this in other files. And now that we have this mechanism in place, we can use it to fetch some data from our Django backend. Now we've already started our backend server, and if we go to the actual link, you will notice that in the last video we've created 3 separate APIs. One for country, for league, and for characteristic. Now the first thing that we want to do is fetch the data from country and make sure that we have this data available on the page that we're later on going to be using for creating records. So we're going to go back to our code, and in there we're going to go to our page for create.jsx. Now, the first thing what we would like to do is actually import the Axios instance that we've just created, because we're going to be using that to fetch the data. So on top of this file, we say import Axios instance from ./Axios. Now, to fetch this data, we need to do 3 different things. We first of all need to define a constant that is going to get the data. Then after we fetch the data, we need to store it somewhere. And as a last step, we need to trigger that constant, because something needs to tell the constant to actually do it. So let's start with the first point, where we're going to be creating a constant called getData. And that is going to be responsible for getting the data. And after this getData, we do an equal sign and then some round brackets and then an arrow function with some square brackets. And in here, we're going to be using the Axios instance to fetch the data. So we can say in here that we want to do Axios instance and then do .get, because we want to get something from our backend. And now inside of some round brackets, all we need to do is provide the extension of the URL that we want to fetch between some backwards commas. So like this. Now, if we go to our backend, you can see that we need to go to country/, because that's where this data for country is currently living. So in here, we can simply say country/. And the reason that we only need to provide this endpoint is that in the Axios instance, we've already set what the base URL needs to be. So we only need to provide the extension. Now, of course, once we have this data, we need to do something with it. So after this, we can do .then, and then we open some round brackets and then some round brackets again. And after the second round brackets, we do another arrow function with some square brackets. And now inside of this then statement, inside of this first round brackets, we're going to be calling this res. And once we fetch this data, we want to store this data somewhere so that we can use it inside of this page. However, we currently don't have any place where we can store this. Now, React actually provides quite a nice solution for that, because we can use state to store data in constants and also use something to populate that constant. So on the top, we're going to be changing this import from only importing React. And we're going to change that to importing React and then a comma and then do use state. And then above the constant for getting data, we're going to say that we want to have a constant of country. And then we do a comma and then we define set country. And that is going to be equal to use state. And then we do some round brackets. And in between these round brackets, we can define what the default value is. And our default value is going to be an empty list. Now, how this works is that we can use the set country variable inside of this constant to populate the values for country, the actual variable. So to get the country data inside of country, we can go into the .then statement and in there say that set country is going to be equal to res.data. And this is going to populate the data of the country inside of this constant called country. Now, it is of course nice that we have this constant that fetches data, but there's still nothing that triggers this. There's nothing in here that says that this constant of getting data actually needs to be done. Now, to make sure that that is happening, we can use something called useEffect. And we also need to import that on the top of the page. So next to useState, we do a comma and then do useEffect. Now, below the constant of getData, we can say useEffect and then do 2 times the round brackets again. And after the first complete set of round brackets, we do an arrow function with some square brackets, similarly as what we did for the constant of getData. And in here, we define that what we want to do is get data. So by specifying this inside of the useEffect, we trigger the fetching of that data. Now, in this example, I only want to fetch the data the first time we get to the create page. So if we go from the home page to the create page, then I want to fetch that data 1 time, and then it doesn't need to trigger this again, because once is enough. Now to do that, we can, after this squarely bracket right here, do a comma and then define an empty list. And by doing that, it's only going to do this get data whenever we land on the page for the first time. And this should make sure that we have the data populated in the constant of country. Now, the way that we can check that is by simply log that inside of our console. So we can do console.log, and in there state that we want to log country. So if we actually get data, it will show up inside of our console. So let's go to our front end right now. So I see that inside of the front end terminal, we are already inside of the front end folder, and we can start that server by doing npm run dev. And now we are inside of the front end page. And if we expand the menu, we can go to the create page, because that is where we've built this logic. And now if we go to the create page, of course, right here, we don't really see anything. But if I click on inspect and I go to our console, you can see that it shows an array right here. And that array consists of all of the countries of our backend. So we've successfully fetched this data. Now, of course, I want to do something similar for the other models, because we have this country URL, but we also have URLs for league and for characteristic. So how can we then effectively do that? Well, that is actually quite easy. We can create some more constants. So we can create a constant for league and call this other one set league. And then we can also call this one characteristic and call the other one set characteristic. And now we can also extend this get data with 2 more Axios instances. But this time it's not going to get data from country, but it actually needs to get data from league, so the /league. So we can change that right there. And then we can also do the same thing here and then do that for characteristic. And we also need to change the set country to set league for the league data, and then set characteristic for the characteristic data. And this should fetch that data correctly. Now, what we can do is we can specify inside of the log of the country that this is going to be the country data, and then also add 2 more logs right here to see if we now also get data for league, and then we reference the league constant, and then also the characteristic constant, just to check if we actually get all of the right data. So let's save this. And if I now refresh this page right here, and we again inspect and go to our console, we can now see that we have the country with an array of 5, but we also have the league with the array of 5, which shows all of the entries for league, and also 13 different characteristics, which come from our characteristic model. So now we are able to use data from our Django backend inside of our React.js frontend. And that is actually all for this video. And in the next video, we're going to be transforming this create clubs page and make sure that we have all of the forms that we need to create records. I want to thank you very much for watching this video. If you've enjoyed it, please leave a like and subscribe, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye bye.